Hello everybody and welcome to Azerbaijan for the second time this stream started, and welcome of course to what is the first leg tour. We're at the famous circuit in Azerbaijan. First hosted the race in 2016, 2017 was Carnage, or boy was 28 Carnage. Joining me in the commentary box today is my one and only, it is the man we call OTG. Say hello OTG.
Notorious as ever. Welcome everyone to Baku. So far in qualifying, looks like we're going to have some dry conditions. I always like to look outside the commentary box, and it's nice, bright and sunny. Less windy conditions than earlier on in the real Formula One, so we should have ourselves a really tasty race. We know one thing for certain, there's going to be some crashes, I reckon. This could be a real turn-up for the books. Obviously last week, Synthetic won the Grand Prix after some real late drama that happened on the final lap. We'll get into that a little bit later. But there was some real intense battles going on, and this now could be a really important Grand Prix.
Indeed it could. Remember, like, to wonder about Ollie, what can he do after his colossal issues that he had, of course, in Shanghai, and hopefully he can rebound and bounce back up to the front, of course. Who knows what can happen. We'll be keeping a close eye on the Mercedes driver. Ahead of him is his teammate as well. Well, do remember, though, if you actually want to real life Grand Prix, let us know in the comments. What do you think of the actual race, of course, earlier today? I think it was absolutely brilliant. What did you think of the race earlier on?
Well, if AOR F1 here on PS4 comes anywhere close to that, then I think we're going to leave very happy indeed. I do think this could really shake up the Constructors and Drivers Championship. Williams currently lead the Constructors from Mercedes, and it's the same for the drivers. Ollie Davis. Ollie Davis. Didn't want to mess that up again there. He's currently in second after finishing 13th last time out after a non-driver issue. And Synthetic, he's on 43 points. He has an 18-point lead. So unless Ollie wins and there's a DNF for Synthetic, it looks like he could hold on to this championship lead going into Bahrain next week. It's going to be interesting, though. I really think we could have a third different winner from the first three races, though.
Indeed we could do. It's going to be absolutely interesting to see who we can see winning. Like you said, three different winners in three different races perhaps could be today, and all we know is it's going to be interesting. Lots of drivers, all of them I believe, out on track. Now, do remember, of course, dry conditions right now. I know the F2 race currently is in the rain, so that it could be interesting for the race. It may rain. I do believe it's going to be sunny throughout the race, so hopefully you can perhaps get a little check-up of what the weather will be for this race. But as far as I know, it should be sunny right now. Looking at the Hype Force Indias, though, coming down. Right on board with this is Gemzo. Comes down. This is one of the hardest corners in the race. Remember, Hulkenberg crashed here in 2017. Now, up to the castle section. Still, surprisingly, no one's crashed here in real life. Through he goes, clean as a whistle, up the hill and over the bend, far away and down towards this very blind left-hander. Remember, in qualification earlier on this week, Gasly and Hartley almost had a heart-in-mouth moment right there. Hopefully none of the drivers witnessed the same kind of incident today, but get through the corner A-OK. Now down the hill into the last corners. Of course, the last 10 have gone, because of course there's a few more after this, but they're all completely flat. What's that wall on the right? Now, down he comes to that start line, building the speed. It's like a motorway, some say. Building the speed up, almost hitting 200 before we even get to the DRS. Now the DRS becomes activated, and the Force India blasts itself down the straight, comes to the line. Let's see what Gemzo can do. It looks to be, I believe, an outlap, I believe, as well. So there you go. Never mind, but he will begin his lap now. Soaring away at the Force India, and you have to say, Force Indias look very comfortable today, don't they?
Yeah, it was disappointing last week actually for the Force Indians. They had some really good pace, but through some little collisions they were able to done. They'll be disappointed, but they'll be trying to get some hype underneath them and get up to the podium maybe. We know Gemzo and Florence, the pace just accident prone as we saw in Australia of round one. The first times are starting to come in. We'll quickly run you through the strategy. It's a simple one-stop. It's super soft to soft, so all drivers are currently out on the super soft tyres. You will be expecting between lap 8 and 11 the pit stops to begin. So we've got a decent window. This is of course a very long lap, around the 1 minute 40 mark as you're seeing is on average the lap we're going to be seeing. So it's going to be a big long lap. So the undercut could be powerful. You've got enough time to get it done. And it will really be important here. You might see a couple of guys though from 11th downwards who might go onto the soft compound tyres to mix things up. But currently RC Alonso, he's on top from Synthetic, who is the championship leader, of course, our new championship leader, the defending champion He's just come across the line, and looks like he's done quite a poor lap, so a mistake must have been made there from Ollie. He's done a 1 minute 48.5, so yeah, definitely a mistake done. He might have been doing a banker lap and warming up nicely. He does seem to be struggling now. I'm on board with him at the moment. He's not hit the first corner or second corner on the apex at all, so he might have picked up some damage or something, so it's not really ideal for him. With just under 7 minutes to go, he'll be looking to try and get a more improved lap time. He's doing a bit better now on this lap. So obviously last week we had a really good competitive race, a little bit drama late on, but you know, we love a good crash sometimes to spice things up. I'm going to ask you quickly, who is your money on? Who do you think can get it? Because this is a really open race. If you look at the times between just first and down to 10th alone, they're quite close, and DRS is really powerful down here.
Well, you have to wonder, Ollie's only going to bounce back, of course, after his issues in China, so what's out for him as he comes up the castle? That could end up in a tragedy if someone hits that wall in this race. We know, I believe I saw it a few earlier on today in the Oceania race. I'm pretty certain there was an incident around that. But down the hill comes Ollie. You have to wonder, all bets are going to be on him for trying to get himself back in this championship. Of course, down the hill he comes, and again, I just wonder, he's been struggling the last few races in qualification, but then, whenever I say that, pulls it out of the bag just when I say it. Now, checking goes faster, 1:40.1, that is the fastest lap so far, just over a 10th out away. Now, let's see, Ollie comes to the line, let's see, can he get that car on the front row, or near it? It looks to be a good lap so far. He's only got a few seconds and bails out at the last second.
Yeah, I think based on what we saw there where he wasn't hitting the corners, I think it was just one lap, didn't like it, didn't see he was going to be doing enough, so he's come in nice and early. You'd expect him to set up enough fuel for 2 hot laps going on to this qualifying, so one to play it safe just in case. This is the issue though, for the guys such as, you'd say, Ollie and Chocolate and Alvaro, who haven't set laps now, they might get a little bit panicky. They might just try and play it safe on their laps. They might just want to keep things nice and clean and just get a lap on the board, which is probably a safe bet around here. I mean, if you're starting in last, it's not the end of the world, because overtaking, as we saw earlier on today, and also in the Oceania races, that you can get it done. It's not an unattainable thing, as Alvaro, I think, is one of the only guys who is out on the track now setting a lap, as I think everyone else is more than likely coming in, so he's coming through the final few corners. It'll be interesting to see where he comes in. He's left a little bit late. He's got nice clear traffic. He come up, nice clear track. He avoided the potential traffic of Synthetic. He's coming down this long straight. You mentioned it's like a motorway. It is like a runway as well. I'm surprised the cars don't lift up. If you hit a car or a wall in this race, going down this straight, you are more than likely going to find your car in more than 3 or 4 pieces. It's going to be shattered. He opens up the DRS. He's in full revs now, reaching 210 miles an hour, and he bails out of it as well. So maybe not for Alvaro. So really going to be cutting it tight and loose there. So I think everyone's coming in the pits now and about to get ready for their final flying laps.
Indeed, just looking at your say, my prediction, Clarky to win and Alex to crash. And we heard it here first. And also Ali K saying, a quick warning, Synthetic does not like the castle sector. That could be interesting. The Williams bunching up actually in the pit lane right now. That's interesting to see there. That is Synthetic. Getting stuck behind his teammate in the pit lane. That's not going to really, that's going to make him a little bit angry there. He's going to held up quite a little bit. Not worked well. Now he goes through. Finally, so a little bit of miscommunication between the Williams boys in the pit lane. Not the end of the world. Ollie on track as well as Clarky, as well as Alonso. So everyone's starting to come out on the track now. Daniel's on the circuit. Of course, around this circuit, situated in kind of the old and new. Definitely even older. Most of the circuit built, of course, around the castles. Quite a lot of it built around Soviet-era buildings. Of course, switching in and out of old 18th and 19th century buildings as well. 20 scattered around the circuit. It is one of the most beautiful racetracks in the world. Azerbaijan always hosts one of, if not the best, looking track. It's a brilliant track to race and it's a brilliant track to look at. And you have to wonder, are these drivers going to be struggling with the light here today, do you think?
Yeah, this is a real spanner in the works. The lighting conditions, as it's a later evening race, they will find that it will be glaring, especially going through the castle sector. That could be a tough one. You're going to be finding yourself really struggling to keep an eye on things. Ollie, as expected, has come out early. Jim Passy, he is on the soft tyres, so he might be trying to come out onto a set of softs. That could be one of the only alternates. So Ollie's coming through the final corner. It looks like he's about to rev up for his ultimate lap now. He needs to get this lap nicely hooked up. He probably has 2 opportunities at a push. It'll be interesting to see how much time's left on the clock. once he comes across the line now. He's just revving it up, he's getting them tyres nice and warm. It's going to be a difficult one, and it can be really make or break going into turn 1. If you lock up into turn 1, your tyres are pretty much ruined. So turn 1 can be crucial. DRS open, and let's go on board with Ollie for a hot lap. He could be on for a pole lap. He comes into turn 1, gets it nicely. That front left locks up, but it's a lovely line through there. Nice and early. Opens the exit nicely. Up into 6th gear. Going to have to try and get this nicely done. Just clip the curb, and that's nicely done indeed. Opens the DRS nice and wide. The second straight you're going to find right here. The second overtaking opportunity. Going to be hooking up the slipstream maybe here of Curly Whirly. He does so. Nicely done there. Good teamwork. He moves to one side. Ollie comes in. Beautifully done there. A little bit wayward of the rear end. Doesn't want to light it up too much now. Coming through the second sector shortly. This is one of the more tough sections on the track. 90-degree corners and now the chicane. If you get this perfectly, it can gain you 3 or 4 tenths. Get it wrong and it could lose you 8 or 9 tenths. But he's done that nicely, so he's on for a really good lap here on Ollie. As you mentioned, probably the most difficult section, and there is a car ahead that could hold him up. Gets in there nicely, doesn't cut it, just a clip of the wall there. That's nicely done. The castle sector, he gets there, perfectly done through there now. Nice, and opens up the corner, right and left, nice and sharp, and that's a difficult bit done. There goes Alex, he moves over to one side now. Now becomes the easy bit, but this is where you could become prone to mistakes now. Long, swooping left-hander where we saw Pierre Gasly and Brendan Hartley come together. He's got no traffic in his way. Nicely done, no lock-ups, just getting away with on the car there. Loses it there, takes too much of the curb, loses the rear end, and I think he's backing out of it. He is indeed. He's setting up for one more lap, and I think that Ollie might now be in trouble.
And he's going to be in trouble. He lost the rear end there, hit the wall. That was a heavy impact. I'm surprised how that is not going to damage the suspension. But he gets away with it. No damage on the front wing. He's going to have one last attempt. He needs it. His tyres are going to be shot. He might have to bail out and start at the back if he doesn't do this. His tyres might be overheating. Remember, a one stop, we believe, between lap 8 and 11. Could be on the cards for most of these drivers. A huge lock up into turn number 1. He wants to build the speed up as much as he can. The Mercedes low, one further down the field, one up the field. It's going to be interesting between the pair of them. In the background, one of the Williams there riding aboard with Ollie still. And you have to wonder, Chocolate has not improved to 140.1. Only a few fractions of a second behind Chicken and pole. Chicken looks to have got it at the current time. We're watching Ollie right now, who we have to surely wonder can get pole here today if he can hook the lap up. But the question is, can he hook the lap up? And when and if he does, where will it put him? Gemzo, fastest lap as well, whilst we're saying that, a 1:39.7. Brilliant that for him. Dordos has chucked it out already. Ollie comes into the uphill castle section, does it A-OK there. Nardi, fastest lap as well, a 1:39.5. They're all chucking their laps in now. Ollie's got it all to work. He's down the back, he's in last right now. Let's see if he can do it down the hill, and he comes into the tricky left-hander. He doesn't hit the wall this time, but almost glancing it there as well. Now, he's only got one technical corner to go. He needs this to be perfect. He's done it okay. Now, he's just got to get this long, long straight to do, and then he'll be home and dry. Let's see where he can put it. Comes the speed up then. 200 miles an hour, 205, 206 miles an hour then. Building the speed ever so gently. Hitting almost 210. Where does this put him? He's 16th. Does he go up the field? Only 6th position.
Yeah, not ideal there from Ollie. He will have also damaged them tyres quite significantly. So that first run has really cost him dramatically. So P7 in the end for Ollie. So not ideal from the defending champion. Synthetic, I think, got into the top 5. I have to check that now. As here it is. So yeah, Synthetic got 3rd, and Nardi takes a pole position, and Gemzo in 2nd, really feeling the hype in that Force India.
Indeed. So your official order then. Jim Nardi on pole position from Gemzo. Synthetic in 3rd ahead of the Eagle Killer. Chicken is 5th ahead of Alex. Ollie D is in 7th ahead of Alvaro. Alonso in 9th ahead of Chocolate. Dordos outside of that top 10 in 11th. Clay and Clarkey are 12th and 13th ahead of Curly Whirly. Jim Pasty is 15th, and Dan Daniel is in 16th and brings up the grid. Yeah, top 14, 7/10 of a second separating them. Jim Pasty, though, only guy who set a competitive time on the soft compound tyres. Bit surprised there, and I think Dan Daniel may have had an issue on his lap, which might explain why he's so far off the pace. But
as we saw, top 14 there, 7/10 of a second. This can only mean one thing. We have got ourselves one hell of a race on our hands. DRS is going to be used and abused. Slipstream is going to be key. It's bright and sunny. I've been informed by the drivers. It's going to be a little bit overcast, but a nice bright and sunny race nonetheless. So it's clean conditions. It's a straight fight to the checkered flag.
Indeed. Well, we've only got a few moments to go. Just over about 40 seconds, we believe, until the start of the race. The sun is shining in the sky, and there's but a few clouds in sight. There's a song there of your old references. With only half a minute to go then. Who's it going to be leading to turn one? Well, you have to wonder. It's going to be close. What's out further down the field, though? It's a close battle, everyone. Very close again, and not as close, remember, as we were in China. The top, well, they're almost all the cars separated by, I think, 1.7 seconds. Only a few seconds to go. Get your popcorn. Get your drinks. It's time to go racing in Azerbaijan. So, those cars line it up on the front row. Who's it going to be? Nardi versus Gemzo. And it is lights out and away we go. And it looks to be a good start from Gemzo. But everyone's squirming away. Nardi leads them through into turn number one. Is everyone going to get through cleanly further behind? I think for once they do. But leading up front, Zemzo gets a good start there. And there's one of the Red Bulls colliding with one of the Williams. That is synthetic there, having a bit of battle of Eagle Killer straight away then. And now, Williams versus Red Bull. Further back, another Williams versus another Red Bull. And I believe the Eagle trying down the inside is going to be close there. And they seem to have all got through cleanly. Further back, one of the McLarens there getting into contact there with the other Red Bull. Oh, Carnage seems to be going off further back. And look at this here. Look at this, side by side. That is Ollie down in, I believe, a position there, battling one of the McLarens, almost, I believe, squeezing them into the rule there. And now, look at Chocolate having a little look. Was almost a bit of contact there between the McLarens there. Further down the field, the Ferraris making moves as well, as Clay and Alonso start to make that pull up the field. But so far, so good from Nardi and Gemzo, who lead the first two away. Bit of a gap then to Eagle. Further down the field, though, we've got the battle like Ollie already up to 7th. He's made an okay start.
Yeah, he seemed to be a little bit all over the place. I think he wasn't expecting. There was quite a few guys who were just trying to get in his rear end. Now, as he's just hit the wall there, so he might have picked up some damage. But yeah, I think he was a little bit all over the place. He got the two McLarens right on his rear end, looking a little bit spicy. They looked to go for the moves, and he covered them on nicely. But yeah, he's got a bit of a gap now for Chicken, who's all over the rear end of Alex now. As they come through this start-finish straight now, he's going to have the slipstream. No DRS, of course, until lap 3 of this Grand Prix. Red Bull, is he going to choose left or right? Inside on the left, outside on the right. You can do it either way if you're enough pace. He's going to get in that slipstream. I'm not sure if he's got the pace. I think Alex is set up nicely in the straight line speed. I don't think he's going to go for it. He backs out of it as it's side-by-side action. Synthetic and the Eagle Killer going into turn 1. I think he goes for a move on the inside, but now comes the Eagle Killer around the outside. Can he defend against Synthetic, the championship leader? They go side-by-side, a little bit of contact, and they avoid the wall nicely there. Going down this start-finish straight. No DRS is mentioned now. Coming up to turn 3, it's a good overtaking opportunity. But if you get it wrong, you could end up in a wall. The Eagle Killer on the outside. Will there be any locks up? No lock up there from the Eagle Killer. And Synthetic up the inside. They're side-by-side, still coming up into turn 4. Up the inside goes the Eagle Killer. Little bit of will to will. This is beautiful stuff from these two. Great battling as now they're coming up to the sharp left right-hander. Chicken up the inside of Alex behind as well. The move is done by Synthetic, and a Chicken has held and got past Alex, and now they're side by side. And Alex thinks better of it though. So Synthetic making the ways he needs to do if he wants to get this championship underway. He needs to get that move done now. As there's a little corner cut there from Chicken, but well done from Alex there to avoid that incident. But this is now brought Ollie and Chocolate, the two Ferraris, both into play.
Well, this is absolutely incredible. Again, like we saw in China, a whole heap of cars. That's, I believe, from 4th or 3rd all the way down to at least 10th position here. Ollie, 7th position. He's on the back of Alex right now. But you have to say the two Rebels running together, a bit of front wing off one of the cars. I don't know who that was. I'll see if I can figure it out. I believe that might have been off of Eagle. I believe, yes, it is off Eagle. He's lost a little bit of his front wing, we believe. Now, let's have a look at Ollie right now. He's all over the back of Alex. Now, Mercedes versus Williams. This will be interesting. In the background there, one of the McLarens, that is Chocolate. Let's see. Has Ollie got enough speed down the straight? He's closing all the time. Now, let's see. Does Alex go defensive? He does do so. Look out for the McLaren, by the way. And look at Chocolate. He's going to try. He's going to try and take 2 in 1. He's going to take Ollie. He has taken Ollie. Ollie squeezed off the road. Now he might be under pressure from Alonso, who's now down the inside. Ollie's dropping backwards. What has gone wrong? for your previous champion. He's dropping down the field all a heap of time. He's under pressure from Alonso, as well as Clay getting involved as well. Let's see, is Alonso close enough to make the inside? Has to back off there. Ollie, one very lucky puppy dog. But now up front we got Nardi leading from Zenjo. Then we got Synthetic and Eagle running third and fourth right now, but two Red Bulls are fourth and fifth now. We wonder what happens between these two. Let's hope they don't have a repeat of what happened in the real life race, because that will be tragedy for the Red Bull team. Christian Horner already probably on the radio saying, don't crash, boys. We need this position. They need it. Further down the field, by the way, I'm wondering where the Force India boys are. Let's have a quick check if we can, going through the field. As you go.
Only one is racing. It's just Gemzo.
No, it's Gemzo, by the way, who is right on the back of Nardi. So big contrast from Australia. Gemzo in second. I believe he's got DRS this lap. DRS is activated. I think we could have a switch for the lead here. Let's see. DRS is activated, remember. Down the straight, down what we call the motorway. I call it at least. Perhaps you want to call it a highway if you're American. DRS activated. Let's see. Is he close enough to make a move? A few attempts back, I think, unless he wants to dive it a little bit too far back. Nardi holds his line beautifully there, still leading the gap. It's a few attempts, both of them are locking up. Let's get the gaps up there. 2 tenths of a second right now. By the way, the two Red Bulls, oh, that's a story to look at. They're only separated by 3 tenths. Now, you have to go a little bit aggressive as one of them hits the wall nearly.
Yeah, just looking on board there, Davidos done a Lewis Hamilton. He's completely locked up at turn 1. He's rejoined pretty dangerously, I've got to say, into Dan Daniel. And Dan Daniel's lost some front wing there, so a little bit reckless there from Davidos, but some good battles going out through the field. I keep an eye on what Gemzo was doing. I've been having an eye. I think that he might have a set more for the first and middle sector, similar to how the Ferrari's set up. It hasn't got the straight line speed though, so finding an opportunity to overtake looks to be quite tough for Gemzo.
Dan Daniel's gone off. He's gone off. That is turn number 3, I believe. He locked up. He's lost half the front wing. Now that's going to have to struggle, isn't he?
Yeah, he's going to be struggling throughout the rest of this Grand Prix. Though throughout the field, though, there's some quite tight battles. So everyone's bunched up. It'd be interesting to see, though, if anyone can get a move. More importantly, Ollie, Chocolate, and Alex are all bunched up nicely. And then you've got Alonso and Clay, who are right on it as well. So we could have a real slipstream train here. But Alex, he's only just on the back end of Chicken, who's himself only on the back end of the Eagle Killer. Synthetic has pulled out a 1 second gap, so he might be a bit safe. But it looks like Chicken as well could be in trouble here. It doesn't seem like the DRS will be too effective, but we've got a nice train there. Alex, though, is the one who's really under threat now. Chocolate and Ollie, they're both on the rear end of him now. This will be interesting to keep an eye on now. Chocolate, he's going to have the DRS and slipstream. Alex, seemingly, though, has got a car that's set up perfectly for straight line speeders. It looked like earlier the Red Bulls were struggling to get past him in a straight line, but the corners will be where the move is done now. DRS and slipstream nicely used in combo, but Alex has DRS as well. It'll be tough to go. Chocolate's going to have to go up the inside, similar to how he did to Ollie now. Going to outbrake him maybe. They're side by side, double lock up there. The Red Bull ahead of Chicken. He's gone off at turn 1. That might have put them off now. They're going to go 3 abreast into turn 2. Surely not now. Chocolate thinks better of it. Alex, though, he's going to get past them. Bit of contact there from the Red Bull and Williams, but he gets the move done. That will this make him vulnerable to Chocolate here, Chicken. He's now going to have to defend here. DRS open for Chicken. He's now going to go around the outside. Alex goes defensively. Chocolate's going to look for the middle maybe. And these two are going to come together. Hopefully not. They don't do it. Chocolate up the inside. Beautifully there with the Red Bull. Is he going to get it done now? They're side by side coming into turn 4 now. Red Bull and McLaren side by side. Lovely manoeuvre. He's holding around the outside though. Maybe the Red Bull's going to have to back out there. Ollie though, opportunistic. Can he get a move done? The Red Bull outbreaks himself. Ollie squeezed, but he's just avoided any contact there. So Chicken has dropped a few places. That just shows perfectly that if you do make one mistake, it can cost you severely round here. And Chocolate moves up into P6, and the Red Bull is now dropping. Sorry, we'll quickly move on to Clay. He's DNF, and oh no, he's just disconnected.
He has.
And Gemzo's taking the lead. Gemzo's leading. Gemzo is taking the lead off Nardi. So unseen there, Gemzo has overtaken him. He's coming out the exit of the castle sector. So I can only imagine that Nardi has made a mistake coming out of there. So Gemzo now leads. So Nardi's hit the wall, so not ideal there. See if he's got any damage.
Yeah, he's
but
lost
Gemzo, it's feeling the hype now, and he takes the lead of this Grand Prix.
Nardi's going to have to pit there. Look how much damage he's got. He's going to have chronic understeer. I don't know what's happened there. So he must have hit the inside coming up the castle or something there, because I can't imagine how he can get front left end plate damage. The entire front left is completely gone. He comes in the pit lane, and that, I have to say, I don't know what's happened. Hopefully we'll find out later on. Synthetic now up to second, Eagle up to third. Nardi in the pit lane means the McLaren now is still challenging Alex. This is for 4th and 5th right now. Now, what is Nardi going to go on? I believe he might just chuck a set of mediums or perhaps go to the end of the race. I imagine that could be an optimal strategy for him. Ollie, though, he's not gone up the field. Let's have a little look if we can on the thing. Who has had the best going through the field? Let's get a little look on it. Well, Ollie's making no position changes. The big winner of the day is Chocolate. He's up 5 positions. The big loser today currently is Nardi. Of course, he has just pitted, of course, lost half the front wing, but Alonso up a position as well. Now, Ollie, this is surprising for him. I always have thought he would be superiorly quick. I don't know what he's like on the tyres. Perhaps he's struggling, but he is having not very much luck so far. He's gone, well, up 0 positions. He hasn't lost any positions as Chicken hits the wall into the castle there. Now, this will definitely allow Ollie to come through. Surely Ollie has to start pouncing now. He needs to be like a tiger attacking, I don't know, any kind of animal. Could be an antelope if all you want to be. He's got to try and challenge, but he's still struggling. DRS activated this time around. Remember, on that number 6, 20 laps to go, give or take. And let's see this huge strat here. Alex still leads them away though. In 4th position, ahead of Chocolate, ahead of the Red Bull there of Chicken. Ollie further back there. Behind him there is Alonso, and behind him IRT as well. DRS activated, but these guys aren't close enough, I don't think, to make any moves. Chocolate closing up a little bit on Alex now. Still can't
Ollie
do a lot.
Pit.
Yeah, Ollie and Alonso both chugging it out now. This is a little bit early, isn't it? That's what we predicted. Lap 9 to 11, we believe, was the optimal strategy choice here. So these guys are going to be going super aggressive on the soft tires to the end of the race. This could and will mean there's going to be issues, we believe, later on with punctures perhaps. An interesting strategy call there. Alonso, I believe, on the softs as well, as Nardi heads for turn number 1. Now, he hasn't actually lost it. I think he's gained a little bit of time compared to Nardi. Nardi had a new front wing, remember, but definitely closed up. This might allow Ollie a little bit of optimism, don't you think?
Yeah, it will do. I think Nardi will be quite pleased though he's come out here, because obviously there's a long stretch and gaggle of cars, so he can continue this undercut. I think that's what Ollie's gone for. He's gone for the undercut. Getting temperature into these soft tyres can be tough though. Temperatures around here are difficult to manage, and especially in Mercedes, notoriously horrible for tyre temperatures. Optimum time for pitting is lap 8, so he might just get away with it. You'd imagine he will do. You imagine he'll start to see quite a long string and gaggle of cars coming in. Quick chat hello to Alex, who seemingly has got some pace, even though he's not been showing it recently. You've noticed you might have noticed he was not really doing well through the corners and quite vulnerable in the straights, but has the straight line speed at the moment. He has got Chocolate all over the rear end of the room. He's had a real good charge here. Chicken, I don't think picked up any damage, so we should see if any of these 4 cars from 4th downwards do pit. We've got the Eagle Killer, Synthetic and Gemzo. I'm not sure. We'll keep an eye on Gemzo. He might be coming into the pits this lap. He's not pulled over to the left. He's on the right, so no Gemzo pitting. Synthetic also staying out. So too is the Eagle Killer. Alex also staying out of the pits. So Chocolate, Chicken also, and Alvaro I'm imagining as well. So Ollie seemingly has pitted a little bit too early. So too has Alonso, and not really ideal for them. They're going to be having to try and Davidos is now in as well, so they're going to have to try and make their tyre last a little bit longer. So the other guys are playing it a bit safer, playing with tyre degradation. Track position isn't all too important around here like other street circuits. Because of the long straight, there is plenty of overtaking opportunities.
Indeed, you have to wonder, what are the opportunities here? Well, any error on this circuit, Curly Whirly, I don't know what he's doing there. He was maxing in 7th. I don't think he realised he has 8th gear in the modern hybrid era, but he was in 7th, revving out there. Very interesting stuff. I don't know, but he's dropped a bit of time to Clarky now. He's closed up a little bit more. But Curly Whirly, that is interesting. I'd imagine you'd go into 8th gear whenever you can. Perhaps he was just right on the rev range. He thought might as well just go for it, but it cost him a little bit of time. Not the end of the world. Damage, I believe, is on, I think it's on simulation. I'm not too certain. If I leave it, might be on full. But in terms of the gearbox, that's going to be screaming for mercy there. But nonetheless, up front, leading this race, by the way, divide our attention, by the way, though, to Chocolate and Alex, who are still battling here, as Gemzo leads from Synthetic and Eagle Killer in 3rd. This is Carl, Alex, and Chocolate right now, who we're looking at now. Are these guys going to pit? This could be interesting to see. Now, DRS is going to be activated, so if they don't pit, Alex is in serious trouble. If he does, then maybe not as much, but DRS will be activated. Alex, surely, is he going to head to the pit lane? I think perhaps he is. Let's see. He is. My, that could have been an aeroplane crash there nearly. Almost hitting each other. In comes the Red Bull of chocolate. I'm sorry, chicken as well as chocolate. Stayed out. That could have been a horrible accident there, as chocolate was right in his slipstream there. I believe, did you catch that as well?
Yeah, I'm not sure if there's any contact. We've got to keep an eye on Nardi and Ollie. They're coming down the start-finish straight. Alex is quickly got his stop done, and so has Chicken. So we can see if any position switch here. Nardi has got Ollie over the rear end of him now. Here comes Nardi through turn 1 as they're coming out the pits now. Here comes Alex. Starting the turn 2. It looks like Alex has kept the jump on him though. Chicken has lost out to Ollie, and Nardi slots in behind Alex. So Ollie has got the jump on Chicken there through the pit stops, but at what cost? His tyres might be a bit more damaged than Chicken later on in the Grand Prix. Ollie probably going to get held up by Nardi and Alex. Nardi maybe getting a little bit leery behind Alex. He's going to go for the move. I don't think he's going to go for it full lock there from Alex on that left-hand side of his car. So some real gains there. Alex is, I think, now moving up into a provisional P3 potentially as well after that. Gemzo and Synthetic, neither of them are pitted. Synthetic is just 7 tenths behind, so he might be eyeing up Gemzo. It looks like Gemzo's tyres are coming off. So it's Hype versus the championship leader. The sponsors versus the man who is currently on top of the pack here on PS4 F1 now. They're coming through the final corner, not really the final corner, we'll call it the final proper corner, the final braking zone of the lap, and now they're coming through this long straight. If Gemzo is staying out, Synthetic might have an opportunity here. He's showing superior pace down to 5 tenths just through them final corners now. DRS will be nice and wide open, slipstream as well. Will Gemzo pull over to the left-hand side? He looks like he's doing it, and so is Synthetic. So Synthetic is definitely staying on the left-hand side. Gemzo as well. They're both into the pits now. Oh no! Synthetic has played a blinder there. He has done an absolute cracker. So he noticed what Gemzo was doing. He's done the complete opposite. So Gemzo was put into a false sense of security there to come into the pits. Him and the Eagle Killer and Chocolate all come into the pits. Synthetic there, I'm not sure if you're able to catch it. He's done a fantastic little manoeuvre there.
Yeah, I didn't catch it because I was currently looking at Ollie right now, because he was about a tenth behind Nardi as they came down the straight. The gap just opened up as soon as you said the battle was going on, but it looked very close. I believe just dummying. That's almost what happened earlier on between when Chocolate was battling with someone else as well. So everyone taking that interesting line. Now, Ollie, DRS again. He put it earlier on. A few people asking what happened. Hello to Cherry 2Pi in the chat, and of course, Matty D as well. Locking up, there goes Ollie. Gets to the corner, A-OK. Now, you have to wonder, is he going to try and find a way past Nardi? Of course, Nardi hit the wall earlier on, last half his front wing, and still ahead of Ollie, because that's how big of a gap he had. Synthetic leads this race so far of 10 seconds. Of course, you have to wonder, is he getting the actual gap to the leaders up? It's around about a 23 or 24 second pit stop to come out around the Eagles' position, around Gemzo as well. So it'll be interesting to see. He might slot himself in between those two. Up the hill comes Ollie, up the hill goes Nardi. Everyone flying through. The Red Bull further back of Chicken, running through. A bit of a mistake again from Nardi. He's been pushing that car to its absolute limit around this area of the circuit, and well, getting a little bit of he's getting a little bit of tyre wear going to be coming through. He doesn't want to watch out too often. Nardi caps the wall. Let's see, has he damaged the Renault? I don't think so, but still just about leading away from this little battle here is Alex, who leads to just a little bit more, just over a second now. Here is Ollie. He's got the DRS, he'll have a slipstream again. He has a lot of slipstream. Let's see, again, is he close enough? Again,
sorry to interrupt you there, I've got to quickly interrupt you. Synthetic is coming to the pits now, and he might be quite tight with Gemzo. He's coming through now, exiting the pits. Gemzo's going to come through the first corner. I think he's going to have it done there, and he has done. Synthetic unable to get the undercut there. Sorry to interrupt.
Indeed. Very close, and it just cuts that as well. A little bit of a gap. I think it's about over a second, a give or take. Now, again, looking at Ollie, he's still 3 tenths behind. Further down the field, Dordos there. We've got someone out the race. It is the Sauber. Now, he's hit the wall down at the last corner, the last flat corner. He's hit the wall very heavily there. Looking here at the Haas and the McLaren here. Down the inside goes Dordos there. Can't do a lot about it. Has to sit behind. Damn, Daniel. Absolutely frustrated there. He hit the wall backwards. I don't know if he has to be retired because of damage, because he's still going, but of course his AI is in the wall, but he's out of this race there. Now, through comes Dordos then. He's still just behind IRT. Still can't do a lot about it. He's been looking at the back of the McLaren sector. 3 yellow flags now. What is that for? I believe that might for Dan Daniel. We believe so, yes. Well, we'll go up to Gemzo here. He's currently on the back of Pasty. And is it Synthetic who's actually gone wide there, I believe? That may be why he's dropped back a little bit, because he's now in the clutches of the Eagle Killer. Now, Eagles came out of absolutely nowhere. Synthetic struggling, sector 1 yellow flag. Now, I believe that will be for Dan Daniel, of course, who we know is out of this race, but he's still going. His AI, despite him retiring, is saying, I'm still going to go, and he is still going to try and go as far as he can. Now, the Eagle can't do a lot about catching there. Fast lap for Gemzo right now. Going back to Ollie. Is he catching up still? No, he is not. Now, let's go further down the field. Is Dordos closing up to IRT still? He is closing up. Is he close enough to make a little lunge into turn 1? Let's find out. Locks both those tyres up, but not making as many moves as you imagine. Though on the exit, gets closed. Is he going to launch one down the inside to turn number 2? Yes, he is. Is he going to hit the wall? Yes, he does. Now, that is a bit controversial there. I have to say, he definitely dived it there, and I do not think IRT is very happy about that.
Now, the weaving does indicate that he might be a little bit annoyed there, but I think it's a little bit of racing incident there, just side to side. And I'm not sure if he got any damage from that. He seems to be A-OK. Clarkey, all over the back of Curly Whirly. They're the longer runners in this Grand Prix. The only guy who's starting on the, the longest running guy at the moment, you've got Jim Pasty. He's on the soft tyres. He qualified on them as well, so very strange. But the long runners, you've got Curly, Clarkey, and Pasty, who are all going longer. Gemzo already up in the P3. He's put a decent little gap on Synthetic, who has got the Eagle Killer all over the rear end of him. And traffic here of Jim Pasty could actually cause a little bit of a spanner in the works here. A beautiful break in there from the Eagle Killer. He has gained some significant time through that braking zone now. DRS will be available for Synthetic. This is actually racing conditions, remember. No blue flags under these circumstances. Now, double DRS is going to be here, and double slipstream as well for the Eagle Killer. So we're going to have a nice little scrap here. Synthetic, you'd imagine, will dispatch of Pasty quite nice and easily. But if Pasty makes it difficult, there is an opportunity for the Red Bull to maybe go for it. Up the inside, Synthetic goes. He's got the DRS nice and open. He's got the pressure tyres, and looks like he's going to get the move done before the before the corner even gets done. Can the Eagle Killer get on top of that as well? Maybe. No, he's have to wait another lap there. So Synthetic putting a car between him and the car behind is going to be important for him. The guy he's racing on track for position, and the Eagle Killer just locking up the front, maybe trying to some degradation here. He's still got a long way to go as we just hit the halfway mark. Lap 13 of 26. Currently leader is Curly Whirly from Clarkey, but once everyone pits, it's more than likely that Gemzo will lead this Grand Prix from Synthetic. The Eagle Killer, he is currently stuck behind Nardi. He's been there for the last 4 or 5 laps. Nardi, he made a mistake through the castle section. We believe he crashed out and he's lost the majority of his front wing. And Ollie's getting a little bit frustrated. At this point in time, Synthetic will be extending his championship lead nicely, so he's getting a bit more comfortable here at Baku. Azerbaijan hasn't failed to disappoint here. Ollie all over the rear end, as we mentioned, of Nardi. This is the best battle going on. Obviously, Eagle Killer as well. He's all over the rear end of Jim Pasty. But I do not believe that that's going to be a long battle. But this is actually helping Synthetic to pull away a little bit. We'll go on board with Ollie. He's got chicken all over here at his rear end as well. And Nardi has been doing some exceptional defending so far this Grand Prix. It's been a real impressive performance from him, considering as well we pitted so early on. Degradation, though, could be his worst nightmare. And they are slowly starting to bring Alex into this battle as well. And ahead of him, the Eagle Killer has been unable to get past Jim Pasty. So that is really helping out Synthetic. He's got 2 seconds on Pasty alone, so about 2.4 seconds on the Eagle Killer. Now they're going to have DRS going down this the start-finish straight, the long runway straight now. He's going to go on the left-hand side, very similar to Synthetic. Now DRS nice and wide open. He's pulled out the slipstream very early. Gemzo with the fastest lap of this Grand Prix. He breezes past the Renault, very similar to how Synthetic got it done, and Pasty has decided against going that. Ollie, he's not close enough on Nardi, so maybe a poor exit out of the final corner, and Chicken is all over the rear end of them as well, so we've got a nice little scrap going on here. And the next car Jim Pasty has to deal with is Alex, the veteran, and Clarkey has fallen a little bit behind Curly Whirly as well. And Gemzo not got too much traffic at the moment, but he's doing a fantastic job in the Force India. He's feeling the hype at his full potential, and he's doing a really good job at the moment. And a good 2.8 second gap to Synthetic, who is in a provisional P2.
Well, like I said, your order so far, Curly Whirly leads this race, but I believe he yet to stop. Let's have a look. Yes, the top two yet up Carly and Clarky out of position. Gemzo in third position ahead of Synthetic. The Eagle is in fifth ahead of Pasty, who has yet to stop. Alex is in seventh ahead of Nardi. Ollie's sitting behind there, wondering if he can make the move. He is getting close.
Oh, God! Nardi's gone! Nardi's gone! He's taken Ollie with him! Oh my word! Oh, I'm sorry to interrupt, but that was Nardi. I'm not sure if he was able to catch on board with that, but he's just gone straight on the corner, clipped the left-hand side there, and Ollie has just gone. I can't believe. I just think he's gone inside of him. That was just pure chaos. So, oh my word! Honestly, that is just breathtaking. Ollie's retired. The defending world champion has called it a day, and there are smiles all round at Williams. Synthetic now is going to be beaming from ear to ear. There'll be a party down at Williams. Frank will be out of his wheelchair in no time. There'll be disco music, but for Ollie, it's heartbreak. Oh, it's disappointing. I don't know how to look at that. I feel bad for Nardi, but I feel worse for Ollie. It's just a horrible, horrible racing incident there, and that has not gone well at all there. And sadly for Nardi, your pole man and your defending champion.
Sorry to interrupt. Down the inside, there's contact as well. Pasty's in the wall. Pasty's been punted in. Was surely one of those dives there. I believe that was Alex punting off. He went. Pasty sent to Nardi and back there, straight into the wall. What carnage! Well done, Baku. You have brought the best out of this race so far. Utter carnage already. But owing to that accident, we saw on board with Ollie as he came through the hill. There was nothing he could have done. Straight to the wall went Nardi, straight through into the back and went Ollie, and it was immediately, almost luckily, not a complete blockage. Luckily the ghosting system did kind of do something. Didn't do it as well as you'd probably imagine, but huge drama here. There is the stricken Renault. Ghosted, however, luckily, otherwise there would be slight issues there. But he is ghosted nonetheless. I do believe that'll be a bit of a inquiry into that one. Nardi has apologised to Ollie, but Ollie is going to be absolutely furious in that cockpit. Meanwhile, because of Alex's little bit of contact, he is now battling with Chicken, who's come out of absolutely nowhere, and he is going to be trying to challenge. Up he comes down the hill. A few people, Matt's in the chat, by the way. Hello to Matt in the chat and Big C as well. Let's see, is Chicken close enough to make the DRS pass? He's closing all the time. DRS is activated, building that speed up in his car. Now, down he comes toward turn number one. Is he close enough? Has a little bit of a look to the inside. Backs off of it. Running aboard with Alonso further back. He's catching up as well. In comes Carly Wiley and Clarky, by the way. So Gemzo is now leading this race officially from Synthetic. Eagle in third. Alex, who we may have a little bit of inquiry on. The stewards might have to have a look at that one. Don't know what happened exactly. Can't really pinpoint anyone there. But Alex definitely dived it. Chicken is in fifth position. Is challenging ahead of Alonso right now in sixth. Chocolate in seventh. He's dropped back a little bit, but he is ahead of Carly Wiley, the sole Mercedes in this race. IRT is in ninth. Clarky is in 10th. And Pasty, after hitting the wall, he just pitted as we to speak there. Out of this race, however, Ollie and Nardi involved in a car, well, a humongous accident. There is Nardi. That's where he is and may remain for quite a while. Dordos retired down towards the last corner. Daniels spun at the last corner. And Clay retired. We don't exactly know what happened to him. He retired randomly down straight. So, of course, we don't exactly know what happened to Clay, but we do know what happened to Ollie and Nardi. And that was a horrifying accident. I did mention earlier on, didn't I, that how no one's crashed through that corner. Well, maybe I foreshadowed that one a little bit too well.
Yeah, you did indeed. Back to track action. Chicken all over the rear end of Alex, who's kind of gone unnoticed. Both of these have as well. Chicken's been quite clean and doing a quite tidy little job. Alex as well, though. He's really got the car set up for the corner, but beautifully through the straights. Now they're going to come through the start-finish straight, and DRS will be nice and wide open for the Red Bull. Inside line for the Williams. They've got some great opportunity for constructors' points here, considering as well that Curly Whirly's only down in 8th now. Around the outside, the Red Bull's going to dope. The Williams up the inside, locking up from the two of them. The Williams just a little rear tap there. It's a little bit shaky, but clean nonetheless. I just want to talk quickly about the repercussions that does have on the Drivers' Championship. Sparky moves up to 9th, and Alvaro, he's down to 10th as he comes into the pit. So now Synthetic, he'll be leading the championship. None again, he'll be extending that. But for Ollie, bit of a disaster. He'll be dropping below Clarkey and Alonso, and potentially Clay. Sorry, not Clay. Clay's DNS. Sorry, Curly. If Curly can get enough points, he can maybe move as well. But looks like Ollie is going to be moving to P4 in the championship, and the defending champion has another really tough job on his hands. But Synthetic, nonetheless, he'll be extending his championship lead. And at the moment, with Clarkey only picking up 2 points, the gap will be at 34 points from second position.
Well, that is interesting, the championship. By the way, I have noticed, because Nardi hasn't actually fully retired his car, we do have a situation where no one can overtake him to that area. Of course, if you tried to overtake in that area, you'd end up, well, you'll end up like Nardi, but let's hopefully we don't see anyone else trying. I don't think anyone can overtake at all now in Sector 2, which is going to be interesting. It will definitely allow drivers to close up. Chicken, again, he's on the back of Alex. Watch out, here is the Ferrari of Alonso. Now, this is a slightly better line. Now, if I was Alex, I would definitely go defending to the inside. If I was Chicken, I want to do a dummy. Now, let's not do a Ricardo and Verstappen. And we've seen what happened to those two. Remember, who's both drivers going to actually the real life race? Both got reprimanded, by the way, for that incident. I have to say, good job from the steward there. On board again with Chicken, still trying to close up on the back of Alex, but still nothing he can do. Further back, Alonso just sitting behind. He's probably tasting sweet, sweet joy if these guys have an incident. Curly Whirly, by the way, fastest lap, 142.7. That's a fast lap so far. I think we've seen almost all weekend, apart from qualification. But it is a very good lap there. He's on those super soft tyres going, I believe, to the end of this race. But still, Chocolate in 7th, Alonso in 6th, still behind Chicken, the top, well, we're looking at 6th, 5th and 4th, who are now all separated by just around about a few seconds right now. Let's have a little look actually to see how close it is. I believe it's about 2 or 3 seconds between all three of them. Intriguing this will be. Now, you have to wonder as they come towards, now officially, Nardi has pulled that car out of the race. He's officially been retired. So they've finally got him out of the way. So we are officially back to green flag racing in sector number 2, which is brilliant to see.
Yeah, it's a tough area to remove a car, of course. It's difficult for the marshals to get that done. Further down the field, Alvaro, he moves at the P10 on Jim Pasty, who has been on a very different strategy. He went onto a set of medium compound tyres. He wasn't very trustworthy on them super soft tyres. Curly Whirly and Clarkey unlikely will make their way through the field very shortly on lap 18 of 26. With 8 full laps still to go. They'll be making their way through. It's a 6.5 second gap to Chocolate, but once he get onto the back of Chocolate, they're all very, very bunched up together. I think most of the guys, though, after the chaos that's ensued, pretty much know that if they finish this Grand Prix, they've got points guaranteed. With only 11 runners currently out there. Synthetic, he's slowly gaining on Gemzo, who looks a little bit nervy. I've been on board with him a little bit. He does look like he might just be a little bit scared and worried that he could make a mistake, and at this late stage you don't want to be ruining your chances of 25 full points in the top spot on the podium and a lovely shiny trophy you can put in your cabinet, more than Tottenham Hotspur of course. And 2 seconds is the gap to Synthetic, and the Eagle Killer, he's a little bit behind as well. So at the moment the closest battles are Chicken and Alonso, who are all over the back of Alex, who seems to always have a car off his rear end. I don't think he's had any clean moments where he can just enjoy the lovely scenery, the nice architecture here in Azerbaijan. Very, very Eastern European architecture around here. A lovely place. You mentioned the old town and the new town kind of mixed in together. It has that sort of old Italian vibe coming in the castle sector as well, with people on their balconies enjoying a great Grand Prix and some great drama. If you had a seat near that castle sector, you'd have been enjoying some fantastic drama going on earlier, of course, with Ollie and Nardi both DNFing there. If you didn't know who took pole, it was Nardi. Gemzo was in P2. He hasn't actually had to make an overtake yet, but he's been clean and consistent and has been managing that gap for Synthetic all race long. But Chicken and Alonso, they're coming through this final corner. Now they're going to be right on the back of Alex. It's been very difficult to overtake Alex. 3 or 4 times I mentioned he's got a great straight line speed here, probably the fastest of anyone. It'd be interesting to see who is the fastest in a straight line. It's 7 tenths from Chicken to Alex, and Alonso to Chicken. An additional 7 tenths as well, and Chicken's actually losing time in the straight to Alex there with Slipstream and DRS available to him, so not ideal there for the Red Bull driver, but he'll be trying to gain through the corners nonetheless in this really chaotic race. As you mentioned earlier on, you know, it's a really important one. You've got to get them points. Curly Whirly on them super soft tyres. He's set a fastest lap, 1 minute 42.633. Quickly, as you know, penalties are a big thing around here. You can get a few corner cuts, and when you do, that can be really vital. There's moments where you can just clip it a little bit, especially through the chicane and around the cross section in the final sector. So we'll quickly go through the penalties. Obviously, I'll go through them for you. So your race leader, Gemzo, he has not got a penalty. Synthetic, no penalty. Maybe there's a theme running here. Deagle Killer, he does not have a penalty. Alex, also no penalty. Chicken, no penalty. I think we're seeing a recurring thing. So penalties will not be having an effect on this Grand Prix, which is fantastic to see. The worst thing you want is when a Grand Prix is put down to a penalty and it's not based on on-track action.
Well, indeed, no penalties though. That is good to see. I've witnessed, of course, in China we had an absolutely heap of penalties, as well in Australia. Of course, back here is one of those circuits you really can't corner cut. I mean, there's a few places you can cut the corner. Here's one of them. Verstappen did it in the real life race. Of course, in this game you can't, because if you try it, you will definitely end up in the Armco barrier there. This corner you can cut as well, but you don't really gain much or any time. I think you more lose time cutting corners around this track. But of course, up front is Gemzo. You have to wonder, he is looking absolutely confident right now, leading in the Force India. Remember, Force India got a podium in the real life race. If spoilers, you haven't watched it yet. If you haven't watched it, why haven't you watched it? It was absolutely insane. Synthetic second and an Eagle in third. Alex is currently in fourth, of course, perhaps under investigation for the contact with Past earlier on. Chicken is currently 4 tenths behind. He is in fifth. Alonso is just literally a second behind into sixth position. Chocolate 7 had a Curly Whirly in 8th. Clarky is 9th. IRT is 10th. And Past, of course, after that incident with, of course, Alex earlier on, is in 11th outside the points. By the way, if you're wondering if you have just joined us, why is Ollie out of this race? Well, he had a horrifying accident. Very frightening incident indeed with Nardi, with Ollie going completely almost underneath of Nardi. Dordos retired earlier on, of course, with, we believe, a incident as well. He was down towards the third last corner. Daniel spun, of course, into that flat out section as well. And Clay, of course, retired earlier on as well, due to an issue that we do not know exactly, but hopefully we will find out later on. Right now, meanwhile, Chicken, only 4 tenths away. We're currently just shy of 5 laps to go. And I did mention that Gemzo did look confident earlier on. He is only 2.2 seconds up the road. Chicken, by the way, still has not found a way past Alex. He's got the gap to 4 tenths again. He is closing up, and let's see. DRS again will be activated on this lap. He runs a little bit wide there. Alex seems to have got a very good car out of the corners. Now, this is helping him an absolute treat round Baku because, well, it is very much stop-starting, stop-starting. Of course, the only area where you really want to not have a bad exit is in this long straight. Of course, Alex has always a good line here. And let's just see. He closes up a little bit. 210 versus 206. Only 4 mile an hour difference. And it's definitely not going to help him the best here. Only 4 miles an hour. But you have to wonder, if you're a McLaren Honda, and 4 miles an hour was definitely a big thing. Actually, saying that, they're about 20 miles an hour slower last year. Never mind that, though. Currently, they are, well, where are the McLarens? Well, I believe they're, well, there's one of them, 7th. I believe the other one is down in 10th. Yes, it is. So, 7 and 10 for the McLaren drivers. Not the end of the world for them. They'll be scoring some decent points, of course. Everyone apart from Pasty, of course, had that, well, very optimistic incident with Alex. I don't exactly know. What was your opinion on that incident? It was very late dive from Alex, wasn't it?
Yeah, I'm not sure if it was Alex or Alvaro. I'm not
Alex.
too sure. It might have been, actually, if it was Alex, yeah, my bad. Yeah, it was Alex. So, interesting one, but I'm not sure. I just want to keep an eye, we've been keeping an eye on it. I've been judging the distance, and quite consistently, you'll be seeing through this middle section that Alex kind of really does get it back on the straight. Chicken gets it down to about 4 tenths. You'll see through the final corner. But then Alex, you mentioned, really lights it up out the final corner, and Chicken can't really react. So if Chicken wants to make a move, I think the best thing he could be doing here is going into that turn 3 and trying to maybe go for a risky move, you know, where he's not expecting it. Maybe make Alex feel a little bit comfortable. 22 of 26, going to like 23 now, Gemzo is. 1.5 seconds now Synthetic is, so he's making a late charge, mounting it up. But Chicken, you can see 5 tenths though, and once the DRS is open, he's just not close enough. Alex in just straight line speed is has got a number on Chicken, so he's really played this tactical blind. He's done great on the setup. He's thought about the race, and he knows that if you have it down the straight, there's nowhere else to really overtake as you're coming through this corner. And as well, Alex, I've also noticed, hasn't actually hit a corner apex for a long time. You'll see coming through turn 3, see, just misses it. You know, he's not hitting them apexes nicely compared to Chicken, who can't hit them as well because of the dirty air. So it's up to 6 attempts now, and you'll see that we'll slowly chug down to about 4 attempts. And through the final corner, we've got on to Synthetic now, who is 1.1 seconds behind Gemzo, as Chocolate left and rejoined there, so he'll hopefully be able to get there. That will open Curly Whirly, who has got the move done there, and he's got past him, so Curly Whirly moves up to P7, so getting some vital points there for Mercedes, and also some important points if he wants to mount a little championship challenge at any point. But Synthetic is mounting a very late charge indeed. You've seen Chicken stuck behind a car for a while. Alex has been great in the straight line speed, so you can only imagine that Synthetic is also set up nicely in the straight line in that Williams. It's 1.2 seconds. We'll be interested to keep an eye on this with Gemzo on lap 23 of 26. We're coming up to the final 3 laps of this Grand Prix, and it's really becoming crunch time. Synthetic will probably want to win this Grand Prix, but he'll also be thinking that his championship rival has DNF'd here, and he's, you know, the closest man to him is kind of not picking up them points like he should be in Clarkey. So it's going to be important that Clark and Alonso, who are his real close challengers, so it'll be important for him. Synthetic 1.1, I'm not sure he'll be able to do this lap, but next lap, if he can hook up that first and middle sector, he will be able to get a move. Chicken is much closer onto the rear end of Alex here now, so keep an eye on this one. Coming through that long swooping right-hander, you can have a wall, you have some understeer through there, you're going to be finding that left-hand side of your car is scraped and bruised now. DRS will be nice and wide open, and Slipstream as well. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to get close enough here. He might go for a late Daniel Ricciardo S1. He looks for it but thinks better of it, but he is getting closer and closer every single lap. It's 2 tenths now. He might go for an audacious move into turn 3. Synthetic, he's just 6 tenths behind now. I think Optimum, though, you have to be about 2 tenths behind if you really want to get a move done. As Chicken now going to be up in that DRS, but on the exit of the corner, Alex just gets it nice and nicely opened up, and there's no real response Chicken's hand. He'll be sick of the sight of the rear end of that Williams.
Indeed, Ollie in the chat as well, of course, after his very dramatic retirement from the Azerbaijan Grand Prix after almost what could have been a horrifying, well, it definitely was a horrifying, it could have been a lot more worse, but apparently P1 and 2, we've got a battle up front. Almost we didn't, as almost Synthetic almost smashed into the wall as I said that. Well, currently 24 of 26, and we finally have a battle for your lead. Gemzo, after leading most of this race, is now under some, well, serious pressure from Synthetic. DRS will be activated now. He's only 4 tenths behind. He is closing like an absolute missile. He's now close to 5 tenths, and we know that he really wants to be within about 3 tenths coming into this corner, because you see from the likes of Chicken and Carl Alex that it's very difficult to take on this circuit. However, DRS activated will be on the Williams. He's closing up 4 tenths to gap. I think we might have a cheap lead change here. DRS is activated. To the penultimate lap, we're coming on that 25-26, and in the DRS, Synthetic is closing that gap to the lead, now just over a tenth. A little bit of a lock-up for Gemzo, and this could all allow Synthetic to have a little bit of dive. Yes, Alex and Chicken having the move. We'll keep an eye on this battle up front. Meanwhile, as now DRS activated, 3 tenths the gap. We're coming now towards the middle sector. This is where it's going to be almost near impossible to make the move. And now, let's see, Gemzo versus Synthetic, the battle for the lead of the Azerbaijan Grand Prix, or the European Grand Prix as it was once called last season. And it is all getting very, very close. The gap just 3 tenths. It's evened out a little bit now, but if he keeps like this to the start line, we could have a run to the line. He's getting a little bit more close each time, but he can't make a dive into this corner because that is the do or die movement there. Every time cars go through that corner, I think someone's going to hit it. Of course, unfortunately, earlier on, Nardi and Ollie did have so hit that barrier. Of course, we'll hopefully hear from them perhaps later on. Coming on, though, to the last lap, and I think now could be the opportunity for Synthetic to take the lead of the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Through the last corner he comes. DRS will be activated now. Surely now is the opportunity he's looking for. DRS will be activated. He is close as he's ever been. 1 more lap to go here in Azerbaijan. DRS is activated. Here we go. DRS slipstream. Now let's blast it down the straight. Let's see, is he close enough? Closing all the time. Is he going to dive one? Last lap. He's going around the outside. Can he do it around the outside? It's going to be brave. He's going to try. Cutback. He's going to get the cutback. Now let's see, down the inside. They almost made contact. They almost made contact. Down the inside he goes. And off. Oh my goodness. He's in the wall. Gemzo's crashed and he's bottled it. He's thrown it away. He's dropped the height on the floor and he's spilt it all everywhere. What a disaster for Gemzo. This means Synthetic leads the race from D-Eagle. Oh my goodness me, this is fantastic. He's in the wall again. He's got damage on the car. He's going to have absolutely critical understeer.
Yeah, not ideal there. Heartbreak for Force India and the Hype Energy guys. They'll be disappointed, but the podium's still potentially on. I was flicking through that quite frantically as Car Alex has had Chicken behind him. They were side by side, 3 abreast at one point. But Alex has somehow held onto the position Synthetic through the castle sector one last time. He'll be pleased that he'll be getting away from that unscathed. But on board with Alex, Chicken and Alonso, this could be a real dash to the line. Once again, Synthetic's moment of glory could be squabbled through a late battle. We've been waiting all race for some action, and all of a sudden, the last few laps, it all comes at once now. As Jepso, I think he's just been able to hold on. He's hit the wall though there. He's really struggling with understeer. I think he might just have enough though, as Alex has got to defend from the Red Bull and Ferrari. It's a horse versus a bull versus the old guard of Williams. And we'll quickly go on board though with Synthetic though. Gemzo's struggling to get across the line. It could be tight there, but Synthetic from start to finish has driven a clean race. He hasn't led many of them. This is the only one he has led. Gemzo will be heartbroken. Deagle Killer's on his tail, but it doesn't matter. The championship leader makes it back-to-back Grand Prix victories, and he wins the Azerbaijan Grand Prix from Deagle Killer. But Alex will have Chicken, and Alonso will up there in the rear end. This could be a dash to the line now. As well, you've got Gemzo, but Alex holds on to it. Gemzo gets hold in third, Alex in fourth, and Chicken in fifth. Alonso sick, Curly Whirly, he'll take home seventh for Mercedes. Chocolate, he just fends off Clarkey in eighth. And Clarkey in ninth position. Alvaro will come home and take the final points paying positions. But a fantastic Grand Prix nonetheless. Late drama, difficulty overtaking. We'll go through drivers of the day quickly though, but I do think that Synthetic is leaving here the happiest man on the PS4 platform. He has not only extended his championship lead, but he has seen his closest championship rival going into this Grand Prix drop so dramatically after an incident at the castle section. Congratulations to Synthetic and the Williams boy. Deagle Killer, a classy second place. And Gemzo, he'll be disappointed, he'll be gutted, but a podium, considering the start they had at Australia, will not be a bad sight at all. Now, as we'll come through, and we'll quickly run you through your classifications and final finishing positions after a very hectic Azerbaijan Grand Prix that has seen 3 different leaders and a last lap squabble that has seen Gemzo sadly miss out on the race victory in 25 championship points here. So here it is, the podium celebrations. It's joy for the man on top spot. Williams will be over the moon, and they've got back-to-back Grand Prix victories. And Ollie, for the second week running, is sadly not going to be a happy man after an error that wasn't his own. Second time's a charm, sadly not for him. And Synthetic is unable to really pounce on the Deagle Killer. Kind of went under the radar the entire Grand Prix. But your race classification, Synthetic wins by 1.2 seconds, very tight at the end there from Deagle Killer. Gemzo, disappointed that he's in third. Alex, fourth for him, and then it's Kid. He's down in fifth. You had Alonso in sixth, Curly Whirly, who done a very good job from 14th. He got seventh. Chocolate, he's in eighth. Ninth was Clarkey. Alvaro was in 10th, and the final classification was Jim Pasty. As well, you've got to keep an eye on Naji. He finished 13th, and in 12th position as well as your defending champion, but nonetheless extending that championship lead to 34 points. It is in no, sorry, it's now 32 points to Curly Whirly there. So disappointing, but I'll quickly ask you for your driver of the day. Who are you going to go? As we're going to get the guys quickly into the press conference as well. Who would you say would be your driver of the day from that Grand Prix?
Well, you have to wonder by looking at the amount of grid changes here. Curly Whirly from 7th to from 14th on the grid. He's done a good job, as well as Clark as well, but a great race, of course, from Synthetic and the Eagle, and also Gemzo as well. You have to wonder, though, especially if Alex and Chicken. Vettel finished to find 6th, by the way, and outside the points we had Lewis Hamilton, hashtag Ollie was Hamilton in disguise. He finished in 12th position, of course. And Roman Grosjean and Marcus Ericsson. And out of this race, the first retiree was Kimi Räikkönen and Marcus Ericsson. Also, Grosjean retired, which I find pretty interesting if you actually watch the real life race. Grosjean actually did retire, so there we go. And Lewis Hamilton, who is secretly Ollie in disguise. So there you go.
Yeah, for me, driver of the day, I think Gemzo's done a really good job and it's disappointing for him. And Synthetic won the Grand Prix, but I'm going to go for Alex. I don't think Alex was actually overtaken once on that in that Grand Prix. He just seemed to be such a good defensive driver, and when he was put under pressure, he'd done such a solid job there. But Synthetic has joined us, so he is your race winner. Fantastic job from him. He'll be undoubtedly chuffed with himself after a really solid performance. We'll get the questions underway as we slowly start to feed our drivers into the chat. So, Synthetic, a great drive from you. You've undoubtedly got to be pleased when Ollie's DNF'd as well. It didn't look like you were going to get the Grand Prix win. I could notice you were playing a little bit safe, but you've got the top step of the podium and a fantastic performance.
Yeah, thank you. I was quite surprised, especially how much slower Gemzo got in the last few laps, because the gap was like 2 seconds and suddenly it came down quite rapidly, but I don't really know what happened in the last lap. I think we both locked up and he drove basically just straight on. I think on my side it was like that. I'm not quite sure what happened on his side, but yeah.
From where he was, it did look like it was a clean move from you. I mean, was you playing it safe? Obviously, we saw that Ollie had retired and it was going to be an extension for you in the championship. Was you just making sure you got them points on the board because you've got a real good opportunity in the championship now?
Yes, I played it quite safe. I didn't want to risk anything, especially in the castle section. It's so easy to put it in the wall, and as you said. And in terms of championships, it looks quite good, but I think it's too early to say that. There are so many races to go, and everything can happen.
At what point did you find out that Ollie had sadly crashed out, and it was obviously with Nardi? I'm not sure if you're aware, but what point did you find out? I mean, and what was your reaction when you did find out the news?
I found it out when Nardi posted it in the group. And I was quite surprised, but it didn't affect me too much because I had to do quite a lot of things. I had not enough fuel, so I had to fuel save and save my tires and catch up in the process, and I didn't really notice it. I noticed it, but not. I didn't pay too much attention to it.
Obviously, next time out, we're at Bahrain. Is that a track that you feel quite comfortable at, and you think you can continue this great run you're on?
Would be great. I really like the track. There's also quite a lot of tire saving involved, so I think it might be quite a good track for me. But always quite an interesting race, especially because it's dry most of the time and quali times are very close together. So I think it will be a great race.
I think so far this season, the real key to your success has been your consistency. It was second place at Australia and back-to-back Grand Prix wins. You could have even won at Australia. But do you think that you can really get the job done? Do you think your consistency is where you need to be focusing? Because if you're calm and composed, as you showed today, you can get the job done.
I think it's very, very important, especially I'm quite bad in qualifying. Today, but usually I have a few problems, so my consistency helps. And I think it's really important to score points every race, and I think it's very important, as you said.
And I just want to quickly ask you, we're going to quickly try and get some of the other drivers in. If not, we're going to try and get Ollie in to see from him what happened. We'll hear from him, hopefully. But do you think now that a Constructors' Championship match with you and Alex doing such good jobs and working so well as teammates is a possibility?
It works really good. We practice quite a lot, and we write a lot about setups and everything. And we are quite a good team, but There are a lot of good teams, and Ollie is very quick with his teammate, and I think there are quite a few teams who are able to, mount to us.
Well, sadly, it seems like the Eagle Killer and Gemzo aren't able to make it. I think they're just getting debriefed. So, yeah, it looks like this is sadly all we have for the post-race interviews. Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
well then we'll head off then, I presume. Then I definitely rate that a solid 8 out of 10 in terms of my.
Oh no! Quickly, we got Ollie. Ollie, sorry. Ollie has joined. We're a little bit low on the drivers, so we thought we'd ask you, seeing as you are the defending champion, and get your point of view. And that's a little bit awkward, you know. Synthetics might be taking your crown, but obviously we saw what happened. It was a bit crazy. I'm not sure if you're angry at Nardi or anything, but what was your view on the incident?
Well, overall, it was just like a very, very difficult race. I didn't really have the pace. I didn't have a good qualifying either, and the wings I was running were just too high, so I couldn't overtake anyone in the straight. And then I was just stuck behind Nardi. I couldn't get past him any place at all. And then I believe he just hit the wall on the inside, and then I had nowhere to go, and that was my race over. And that's 2 races in a row where I've lost points through no fault of my own, so it's pretty frustrating, but it's a long season. And last year I came back from being like 65 points behind or something, so hopefully I can do a similar thing again this season.
Well, you mentioned it there. We did say in the commentary box it wasn't no fault of your own, but it must be a bit, you know, it must make you feel a bit down when you look at Synthetic, you know, second, first, and you know you have the pace, and you showed you had pace at Australia, and you had the pace at China. Obviously, misfortune struck. So, do you think that the momentum is against you at the moment, and do you think you kind of need to dig deep going into Bahrain and really pull out a big performance?
Yeah, I think when we get back to like the European tracks, that's like sort of where I come into my own really, and that's the tracks I enjoy more than Baku and like these non-European tracks. I like the older classic tracks really, so hopefully that's where I can come back and gain some more momentum.
Well, I asked a similar question to Synthetic, but I'll ask you a more refined, more altered one. Obviously, defending champion, it's an uphill task. We've got a long season ahead of us. Can you turn it around? I know it's early days, but do you feel confident in yourself and your ability that you can get the job done?
Wait, was that to me or Synthetic?
Sorry, no, to you, Ollie. Sorry.
Oh, to me. Well, yeah. Last year I did came back from further points behind than this, so hopefully I can do the same thing. But the grid is pretty strong. I think you have to qualify in the top 5 to be able to get good points and to be able to fight for a podium. So yeah, like today, if I qualified in 7th, it's really, really difficult. But I believe I can do it. But yeah, it's just very, very unfortunate, and I don't feel too good right now. But hopefully I'll feel better in the next races and start getting some wins.
Yeah, we've got to quickly ask about qualifying, about what actually happened, because it seemed a bit strange, because your first run up you just couldn't get it done, and then on your first flying lap I think you made a mistake and cut the corner going into that downhill left-hander. I'm not sure if you did or if you just decided to back out because you lost your end a little bit, but it just seems like you didn't have full control over the car around here.
Yeah, on my first run I went straight on at turn 1, and then I went out, and then the second run intending to do 2 laps, and then I was on a decent lap, but then I just hit the curb too hard, and I think that's what you thought was a corner cut, but it wasn't. I just tapped the curb a bit too hard, lost the rear, lost about 4 tenths or something, and then had to go again. And then all the pressure was on the last lap because I hadn't got a competitive time in before that, so I was going a bit tentative on the last lap, which probably cost me quite a few tenths of a second, but yeah, 7th it was in the end.
Well, that is all the questions we have here. That is the conclusion of this post-race interview. Sadly, we haven't got our full podium, but we do have the 2 toughest championship contenders here, and some great answers there. As a long season ahead, as we know, anything can happen. All it takes is one mistake from Synthetic, maybe, and we've got a complete spanner in the works.
Yeah, for sure.
Indeed, we will have a lot of carnage coming into the rest of the season. Well, from Baku, we'll see you next race, of course, in Bahrain this time. So until next time, we'll see you then. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining me and OTG, and thank you to our 2 guests who've joined us on the post-race interviews. And till next time, thank you for joining. Until then, ta-ra from us in Baku.